You got me dancing and crying, rolling and flying. Love, don't let me go. You got me drowning in a river, cold burning fever. Love, don't let me go. Don't let me go. You got me dancing. You got me dancing and crying, rolling and flying. Love, don't let me go. You got me drowning in a river, cold burning fever. Love, don't let me go. You got me dancing and crying, rolling and flying. Love, don't let me go. You got me drowning in a river, cold burning fever. Love, don't let me go. 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 Love, don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Got me drowning in a river of its cold burning fever. Dancing and crying, dancing and crying, dancing and crying. Hey, you got me dancing and crying, dancing and crying, dancing and crying. Hey, you got me dancing and crying, rolling and flying. Love, don't let me go. You got me drowning in a river, cold burning fever. Love, don't let me go. Don't let me go. You got me dancing and crying, rolling and flying. Love, don't let me go. You got me drowning in a river, cold burning fever. Love, don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me
Yo, I'm back. I know I said I would stream every day of 2024, but I skipped yesterday because I was doing some personal stuff. I had to be at a funeral. I could have streamed after, but I was just not really in the mood. So, yeah, sometimes personal stuff happens, and yeah. Anyways, we are here today to finish the interview, the Mark and Jonathan from GGG interview by Galaxy TV and Darth Microtransaction. Boom. We were at like 140, I think. I'm gonna check, but it was a new question and
and farmed, you're getting a good base item to work with, and this high item level 86 weapon can roll a
Oh,
tier
yeah.
12 life mod or tier 12 fist damage.
Mhm.
Is there any plans like raising the bar with the minimum tier can roll on the higher item levels to allow people to work at a more higher success rate on the higher type of item level items that they drop?
You need that like tier 12 good tier. That's just how it works.
There is some information that's relevant here that we're not talking about yet because there's still some more item stuff to do. But it isn't really what you're saying. It's a sort of different thing that's just sort of relevant to what you're saying. So unfortunately, I can't really talk about that yet. But I do appreciate where you're coming from. Let's just say that. And we'll leave it at that for now.
I agree, and yes, the same hesitation as just being we're not ready to talk about it yet.
Yeah.
But our current plan certainly improved that problem.
Yeah.
So I have kind of a more broader scale type of question here.
Mhm.
Is the PO2 or PoE2 lore and kind of setting of it a direct following of where we left off in PoE1, or do we have a different setting entirely, parallel universe? Have we gone down that route and discussed that much yet?
So we're in the same world. It's about 20 years later. There will be some characters that can come back for that reason because they're 20 years is short enough time that they can still be around, which is why we picked it. But I wouldn't say you need to have played PoE1 to sort of understand the plot of PoE2. Really, I mean, there's a lot of nods
Yeah.
and stuff like going back to certain
To be fair, you don't need to care about the lore to play PoE. Like, nobody gives a fuck about that shit. Except maybe one or two people. So,
locations and various things like that happen. But you can certainly just play it for what it is. The storyline as such is like independent of PoE1, but it is set in the same world. Yeah.
20 years has actually proven, well, I was going to use Alva as an example, but it's nice to not have to recast the characters, the same ones we want to use. And you do want some of the same ones to appear. And it's nice to not have to completely remake them with 20 years of aging. But then I was going to use Alva as the example, but she's a kind of a time traveler anyway, so who knows what's going on there regardless. So, but yeah, there are other characters that will appear, and it's nice to not have to like recast everything for them and or get the same voice actor to change their style because it might not work. And but in some cases we might intentionally do that, but allowing for us to bring back some good characters, and thus 20 years, like I don't know how I'll sound in 20 years. Maybe I'll sound the same, actually. I have no idea. But yeah.
Does this mean we get to kill Piety another 500 times?
Piety is gone.
Are you entirely
gone.
sure? 'Cause she keeps coming back no matter what we do.
Of the 600 bosses, I think she's 500 of them or something. Like, no.
I figured as much.
We're done. We're done with
She
Piety.
is proper
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
Done.
Another question I
Uber-
know from the
Uber
community
Piety?
was sorry.
Uber piety?
Uber.
I'm sure.
There's one. Is it
No, go
pre-impaled
for
by
it.
Malachi or post?
You fight her with Malachi's scepter just impaled through her, and she's just got that there. No, anyway, continue. Sorry.
A community question is regarding the uncut gems and the gem NPC, PoE2 related skill gem acquisition. Is it something you can go deep to, or a little bit more detailed description of how that will work for the for in
I guess
PoE2 in
there's not-
general?
I guess there's really not a huge amount to say, really. Like you find uncut skill gems, you use them, and you pick what gem you like. It's pretty much as simple as that. So yeah, I
That's
don't
just
know.
it.
I don't know what else to say about it. Yeah, that's it, really. I mean, what else can I say?
So
But
how is
if you
this
have a-
then connected with like the gem rewards from quests? Is that something we're gonna see in
Uh,
general, like the
so-
acquisition
o-
throughout
okay,
your
so-
campaign for classes?
Right. So we actually did have a conversation recently about whether whether the NPCs, when they give you a quest reward, should just give you an uncut gem, or whether they should present to you a choice of the rewards you would get from the gem of the same level. So in general, we do like the uncut gem level, like the tiers of them are kind of related to the quest rewards you would get from a given quest. Like you kind of get a quest for each one in order. But we were unsure whether or not we should actually give you the uncut gem and let you use that interface, or whether we should not do that. Because if you give someone an uncut gem, it means it's tradable, so that's kind of like a potential kind of weird thing. So that's kind of the reason why we're saying not giving an uncut and actually just giving you effectively the ability to use an uncut.
They
on that
should
character.
give like
Um,
they should give like cut gem early on, you know, like a regular skill early on, so new player are not like too confused about it. You know, they can just pick the skill that sounds the best for them, and then maybe later on in the during the campaign, like during a quest, introduce uncut gem, so that if you want to get uncut gem to sell them, you still have to go through most of the campaign, which makes it like generally not that worth it. And yet you can still like get new player with, like introduce new stuff to new player, which is like what you want, especially if you plan on onboarding a lot of new people with PoE 2 compared to like PoE 1.
from via that NPC, which is probably what we'll end up doing. But I mean, the tie to quest rewards is merely just that we make each tier in the gem is kind of, you know, where you could effectively see those tiers as like the list of the quest rewards you're going to get through the game, right? Something like that.
All right, fair enough, fair enough.
So a follow-up to the setting of the PoE2 question. I've noticed one question that's come up significantly in chat. People were wondering about cinematics. Can we expect cinematics throughout the campaign, or one to get us in the mood for the setting at the beginning? Anything you can share there?
I don't have anything to announce here.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that.
All right, fair enough.
Yep.
I do have another question for the community, which was regarding weapon swap mechanic, which waves into something you and I talked about earlier, DM. And that was, I guess the issue question is MTXs. When you put your weapon on your back, is the MTX going to be visible on your back?
Yeah.
So usually speaking, so MTXs can override things on your back, depending on the MTX. So it's actually already the case with quivers, which maybe you didn't notice, that a quiver will sometimes disappear on your back if you put an MTX on. So effectively, the MTX takes priority usually over the like non-MTX thing, if that's, you know, if it needs to. But I imagine the specifics of that will come down to the individual MTX, basically, like what, you know, whether or not it looks like it's going to intersect too much with the attachment. And there might be some other things we can do in some cases that I haven't really considered until now, about like moving where the attachment point is or something, which I could maybe imagine us doing. Like it's something we have to consider at least when we're building them. But
So that's fair. There are two more questions to the weapon swap approach, and one is in regards to, was a question whether or not you were able to use different types of weapons for dual wielding when weapon swapping. That was apparently not possible to use two different types of melee weapons, so do a dagger and a sword or something.
Yes, so we did restrict the. So this was something I was very sad to see go.
The static
But
sticks.
yeah, in PoE 2, you can't just use like an axe and a sword on one. Like you can't like have an axe in one hand and a sword in one hand. You can use them between different weapon sets, but you can't use them at the same time. And the reason why that happened was actually because when we were during the discussion of like all the stuff around weapon swap and all that sort of stuff, we kind of like the whole reason we designed the new skill tree, the specialization points and all that sort of stuff was because of the fact that we were trying to find a balanced reason to be able to use, say, an axe and a sword. And we weren't able to find one that could really work until we came up with that whole specialization point system. But what we realized when we did that was that, like, okay, well, we still haven't solved it for the case of dual wielding them at the same time. And we honestly just couldn't find a balanced way to make it really acceptable, short of having all sorts of skills that specifically call it out, which I really wasn't that keen for, because I think that it would make the skills kind of overly complicated and annoying. Like, And generally speaking, if you see a skill that's like, oh, when you're using an axe with the sword skill, then it does X or whatever, like you kind of assume then if you see that skill that, oh, this should be a skill that I have to use in this situation, even though it wouldn't necessarily be the case. Sorry, I'm being a bit disorganized here with my thoughts, but effectively the issue was, yeah, as I said, we couldn't find a balanced reason to have both. So then we're like, okay, well, the amount of animations we have to make that work is like really high. Like if we actually supported that, it would probably be more animations for those cases than it would be for not those cases. So then we're kind of like, well, if there's no good reason balance-wise to do this, and it's going to be a huge amount of animation work, maybe we should just drop that and not do it. And as I said, it may be a bit sad because I like the idea. Like there are especially a few cases where I'm like, we should really be able to find a way to do like sword dagger or something like that. Well, that's kind of cool, right? Like there are things like that I thought would be kind of cool, and maybe we will do that one day. But at least for the time being, we just decided, you know what, we're just not gonna allow heterogeneous dual wielding. So there are the cases that are specifically allowed around like scepters you can use with different weapon types and all things like that. They're not really a weapon though. But yeah, generally speaking, you can't use an axe and a sword together, and I'm sad about it, but it is a thing that didn't really have a purpose. So we're not doing it. Yeah.
Fair.
How about
the
PV?
last one?
Oh, go. You want to go for it, Gazi?
Oh, I just had one last part of it, and that's snapshotting. It
Yeah.
still exists in PoE 1, by the way. How will that work when it comes to specifically with the snapshotting of skill tree changes in
So
in
it's not-
reference to like spirits, the reservation mechanics, for example?
it does not snapshot. So it snapshots the but spirit reservations are reserved. Like the amount of spirit you have still has to be enough to maintain the things that you. Actually, hang on. Am I even getting that correct? Like, if you okay, so hang on. If you got an aura, right? When you cast the aura and then you move to the other weapon set, like spirit reservations in particular, I believe, like internally, technically, you have two different skills. One of them is in weapon set 1 and one of them is in weapon set 2. And so it's like you cast it on both in both weapon sets, and then when you swap from one to the other, it technically changes one skill out for the other. This is kind of getting into the internals a little bit of the game here, but like, so that, okay, so snapshotting occurs for anything that isn't a spirit reservation, right? If you fire a fireball and you change weapon set, that fireball is snapshot the stats you had when you cast it.
Yeah.
But the spirit reservations, when you cast, okay, I should say, when a spirit reservation is enabled on a weapon set, it has the stats that it would have under that weapon set.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. Okay, right. So there's a little bit of a complicated detail there, but I should hope that it actually, in reality, will feel intuitive when you're actually playing it. Effectively, you get the stats that you have at the point where you know, when you're doing it. But as I said, internally, the way that works is that yeah, you've actually when you've got a spirit reservation enabled on your character, there are technically 2 copies of that running. One is kind of like one for each weapon set, and then the one that's running comes to the fore as you switch. Is the technical the back end of how that works.
So
for whatever that
what I'm hearing is then that snapshotting for the spirit reservation, because permanent minions, if you go back to minions as well, they will have a reservation such as auras on the spirit, so that will function the way you're saying.
Yes.
But you're also telling me that the way we snapshot or can snapshot in PoE 1, which is only limited to one specific minion nowadays, would work in PoE 2 as well, because that is a temporarily summoned minion. So you could snapshot
a temporarily summoned minion will effectively snapshot the weapon set. But the thing that I should say though is that this isn't technically snapshotting, because the way that the weapon sets are implemented is that your character at all times has multiple complete copies of your stats and all your skills loaded for each different weapon set. So actually you have 2 non-snapshotted weapon sets of all of your skills. Sorry, this is getting way into the deep internals, but effectively, like, if you change your items, then that will change the minion.
Okay.
But when you change from one set to the other, it doesn't change them, because really you have when you've got like a temporary minion skill equipped, what you've actually got is 2 different skills, one for weapon set A and one for weapon set B. We don't like present it that way, but that's what's going on under the hood.
Yeah.
And so, effectively, the set you cast it on it will use that set that you have.
Yeah, no,
equipped.
it makes
So-
perfect sense.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just to be
Yeah,
clear.
I got you.
Right,
It
right, right.
makes perfect
I know,
sense.
I know, I know. To a new player, that must seem completely incomprehensible, but I can assure you that it
Yes.
will seem relatively intuitive when you're using it. I hope. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's perfectly logical. It's all good.
Okay.
All right, so I
Yeah,
have a
DM, you had
question
a
on a
question.
completely different
Yeah.
topic. I actually got two of them.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So it
Yeah, yeah.
seems obvious in PoE 1, at least in my experience, that PvP is not a focus of the game. It's in the game, but not really,
Correct.
right? So I'm assuming we're
Correct,
keeping the
correct.
same philosophy going into PoE 2. This is not a
Basically,
PvP
yes.
centered game. Maybe there's an arena somewhere you can smash each other, but that's about it.
Yeah. And the reason for that is really just that we have been punished each time we try to really. Okay, I say that like it's the player's fault. It's not. It's our fault ultimately. But yes, PvP releases have not gone well for us. It has not been something the players are calling
Sure.
out for overly. So it's just kind of something that we're like, like we have no reason to worsen support for it, but we also have no reason to really like go ham on it either.
Fair
Which maybe we'll try again. Maybe we'll try again one day, but not for PoE 2's release. Certainly.
I guess our non-traditional form of PvP is more to do with like not that we fully embrace it nowadays.
Racing.
Regrettably, is racing.
Yes, racing is a form of PvP that Path of Exile has succeeded at to some degree. We should embrace it more. I'd like to do more there, but it's something that it's a bit of an unusual form of competition as far as most games go. But it has been a thing that kind of has been something that people have liked. So I'm hoping we can preserve the racing scene for PoE 2 as well, for sure.
In that
Does
spirit,
that mean
oh, go on, guys.
No, I was just curious if there's any interest in reintroducing the seasonal races, which was very, very attractive back in the day with the descent races. You mentioned that earlier with Maelstrom of Chaos area.
I agree that the races were cool. The problem was just, and it's unfortunate, that we just didn't, to get like all business speak here, we just didn't have the kind of like return on investment from that, unfortunately. Like it was cool and the community loved it, and I think in the long term probably it was a good thing to do even so, but like having to make all of the effectively cosmetic microtransactions, which is effectively what they were, like the alternate art uniques and all that sort of stuff, like having to make all that stuff and then just make sure that all of the race mods were interesting and like just doing that whole, it was just a big amount of work, and we just didn't really have anyone internally who was able to do that work really well, who wasn't busy doing other stuff. Like it's the kind of thing I think that we should be doing. Like honestly, we should be doing it, right? I'd love to, but it's like, we just need to find the person who's going to be able to take charge of that and make it happen, without consuming too much development time. Because yeah, it was really cool. But the funny thing about it is that as cool as it was, and I mean, I enjoyed it. I actually played not too much, but a little bit of that. Some of the races where it was more. Didn't require so much skill, I think. So I sort of enjoyed. I enjoyed doing that stuff. But funnily enough, we didn't see an increase in players when we ran race seasons. We just didn't. Which is I don't really know why that. I guess it just sort of engaged players who were already playing. So it just kind of wasn't really something that was moving the needle as far as like getting players in the door, and that's kind of why it ended. But as I said, I still like it though. Like I want to run it. Like I like it. So yeah, we should try and do it more, but just needs a person internally who's going to do it.
Recycle past League Challenge rewards. There's the reward structure for the
I
races.
do not think that's a good idea, because those rewards were sold as exclusive, and they therefore need to be exclusive.
Well, they weren't
Like,
sold if they were
earned
challenge
it.
rewards.
People
So
are
when I say
gonna be
sold, I mean
mad.
sold to
like-
the community, like as in
Okay,
the community were
That's fair,
told
that's fair.
we were told this, and so therefore we don't want to go back on that. Which is the same reason, like we're careful around that stuff, because like that fairness of that stuff is very important. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So in PoE 2 then, 'cause
Mud
I'm
over
hearing a lot of like custom
pixels.
challenge type of stuff. Are we expecting the return of custom leagues? Maybe this is a question already asked that I might have missed.
There's no reason. Yep. There's no reason we wouldn't have that. It's just absolutely a feature that we would have. I mean, it's not like hugely popular, but it's also no problem at all just to kind of have going there. There's some. I think there are probably some custom league features we could do that would improve it a lot. In fact, I honestly want to revisit that again now that I'm thinking about it, because like there's some cool shit I think we could do around that stuff. But yeah, it's just kind of another one of those features where it's like it is what it is. People who like it, and it stays how it is.
Fair enough.
Fair
Fair enough. Well, Ghazi, you got another question you want to follow up with?
I
or
have
should I go
one
down the
small one. Yeah, I got one small one, and it's touching a little bit about you, Jonathan, what you talked about with Crip recently, and it's the aspect of free respecs for your character progressing. And your statement, correct me if I'm wrong, was that you would prefer to see information to be provided in a more digestible and effective way to the newer player or the player themselves, so that they could make a sound assessment and a decision of their character's progression to not need the respec points to begin with. Now, I've been working personally with written guides for almost a decade, and I can tell you right now that they don't read it. They don't read the guides. So they're not going to read the tutorial in game either.
Well,
So with
to be
that
clear, what I
said-
was referring to there was the feature we discussed earlier, where you can see when you hover over a
Yeah, the
passive
change
point,
is late.
what the effect that will actually have on your
Like
character.
a soft
And also,
POV.
just to understand, I'm not saying we should have less respec points than we have now. We probably should have more, honestly. But I don't think that just giving out more and more respec points is the solution that the tree needs ultimately. I think that it is more to do with making sure people understand how the tree works, which is why for features like the informational type stuff, I think is actually the better way to go. But sorry to
No, I
upstage
just
you there,
feel
but-
like people just don't read it. They take the POB and they think they've read the guide. And
Well,
like,
I
that's-
do think they'll read. I do think they'll read like oh plus plus 25 DPS on this skill, right? Like versus this other one that's plus 10 DPS. Like they'll read that. I agree they're not necessarily going to read an information dump, but I think that there are ways to present information that players will see and appreciate. And it's just a matter of making sure that we're doing that. Like I don't think, like I agree with you. Like a lot of people actually suggest the things where oh yeah, we should just give them this big screed of information about this. And I'm usually of the opinion that actually, well, once again, like nobody reads that, right? Like they're gonna watch you have to. They might watch a video on something if it's right in their face, and not too long and not too complicated. They might look at like a plus 20%. Plus 20 DPS like number that's there, but they're probably not going to go off and read a big screed about how some particular mechanic works. So yeah, I agree. We have to do that. But as I said, I think it's just a matter of presenting information really succinctly and well, and making sure that we can find just good little UX ways to do that.
Speaking of
I
Claire,
guess my sorry.
Go on.
you want to go,
So
guys?
I guess my yeah, I'll take it. So I think that my question goes down to, do you really think that making sure that information is available for the players to make that decision, that assessment, is going to be enough? Because when I heard this in the interview, my reaction was, I don't think the majority of the community will feel that is a fair solution or a good enough of a solution compared to having increments of, hey, okay, you've reached this point, you can now use one free respec.
All right. Well, I'll ask you this question then. Do you think you should be able to make mistakes on the passive tree?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then at some point there's going to be people who are unable to allocate the correct points, even regardless of what information you give them. That's just a thing that can happen. So, is the problem if people have to be able to make mistakes? Then on some level, is it possible? Like, what solution? What solution? Like, if we're going to give them all the information that they need. If you want people to be able to make mistakes, then yeah, like there's going to be that situation. I don't know what else we can do. You know what I mean? Like at what point do you say, like, at what point does it become the fault of the person allocating the points? You know what I mean? Like if people are able to make mistakes, then there has to be a point where that is the case.
I'm gonna die
Then it's
either
just a question of
way.
where do you draw the line?
You can put in all the
yeah,
tips you
it's
want in the
just where
game.
you
I'm
draw the
still
line, you
gonna
know what I
die.
mean? Yeah. So then,
I mean,
so
the
then where do you
correction
draw
to the
line,
mistake
right?
is the respec points that you do get access to. No, I absolutely
sure.
buy the argument to it personally. All I was saying is that my reaction to it was that I personally didn't see that being considered a solution based on the community's reaction. But I might be wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong on this, because I think that the arguments you're presenting is more than valid, and I actually agree with you personally. I'm just trying to see it from the other players'
as a random bugbear, by the way, and like this is a thing that happens all the time, but it is a bugbear of mine. Is a lot of people will phrase feedback in terms of like, I think other people will think this, and whenever your feedback is like in this way, I always kind of take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, because it's like, what if everyone thinks that other people will think this, right? Like then it's not even a thing anymore. You know what I mean? So it's one of those funny things that that I've noticed can happen sometimes. And I always take feedback a lot more seriously when it's like I think this rather than I think other people will think this, because like then it's like, well, then we know it's a real problem rather than kind of like I'm assuming I believe someone else might have a problem, you know. So like that's just one of those random little bugbears, and it actually happens internal to the studio as well. And I try to call people out inside, like our designers in the studio will sometimes present arguments of this nature, and I'm always kind of like you have to be really careful the moment that you're like I'm going to assume something about other people, because it's a thing. So that's just a random. It's a
Very
random little
common.
bugbear.
It's very.
It's hugely common. This isn't just like something that you do. Like everyone does this, but it's just something that I always have a little thing about that.
You know, speaking of
But
other people.
all of that being said,
Oh, sorry, Mark.
there
God.
will still be
Yeah,
all good. There will still be respec points offered, right?
yeah.
It's just then we have to answer the question: how many mistakes is it okay for someone to kind of make? And I think I can't remember how many regrets you get throughout the quests in PoE 1, but like we kind of you know, do you say that someone can make 200 mistakes, or is it more like 20, or is it more like 15? And
Yeah.
obviously 200 is extreme. That's like
Yeah.
1.5 full character respecs at in game. So like, or more. But like, yeah, you account for say 15 errors, and hopefully
I
by that point
think-
they've learned, and that assumes no regret orbs.
I think you should be able to respect during the campaign. Like, and maybe use like the curses of Ketav as a way to like lower the amount of respect or something, like, and when you get the second curse, then you have to use like regret orbs. That way, if you fuck up your character in endgame, you either have to play and farm regrets, or you have to make a new character. But during the campaign, I think it's stupid. Like, even ascendancies, honestly. Someone who plays for the first time should be able to, like, try the 3 different ascendancies of their class. And not have to run the lab again and shit, like... It's just useless... It's just useless stuff. Like, there is no point to make a new player, like, rerun the lab to respec, especially since, like, it's not clear that you can, like, reascend and shit as a new player. Like, it's not like a clear mechanic. And so it should be like, it shouldn't be like a block, because maybe you're thinking like, oh, I'm gonna try to play Totem and play a Hierophant, and then you realize that Hierophant is not your shit, and you're like, no, actually I prefer Minion like playstyle, and you're playing and you want to respec into a Guardian, I think it should be like more like accessible for new players.
Are dropping, right? Like there are ways to then acquire for more mistakes. And it's a very, very different scenario if you're talking about like, I just want to completely change my build, which it's a whole different topic, but I mean, that's what re-rolling is for, I guess, generally, if you don't want to, cough up the currency for it.
Speaking of a whole different topic, one of the questions I'm seeing all the time is people are wondering, it is cross-platform, but does that mean it is cross-play? Can we get some clear, some clarity on this right off the top? Console and PC interacting, yes or no?
I do want to be more clear about this, but we haven't quite gotten to the point where we can talk about it yet, unfortunately. But it is something I think is important, and I'll just leave it at that. And then we can confirm everything about details around that later on.
I tried. All I can do is try. I'll take it.
I know.
I'll take what I can get for it.
It's funny because like whenever you're dealing with other platforms, it suddenly becomes a thing where you can't just like you can't just say something when you've got like another stakeholder. You know what I mean? Like you actually have to like
true.
really So that's why it's kind of one of those things where, like, you have to really know, like, contracts must be signed and other things have to happen.
Let
you know
me
what I mean?
shoot
So-
another one at
yeah.
you and see if this one's fair enough.
yeah,
then.
yeah,
Okay, so let's talk about
Sure.
talking clarity in the game. Is what I was going to start with the other question. You're talking about this
Yeah, yeah.
earlier. Loot filters is an obvious, amazing thing I wish other games had in because it does make the
Sure.
readability of the game a very high tier.
Yeah.
Now, in going into PoE2, I'm assuming we're going to have loot filters. How about in-game customization of loot filters without having to import them from other websites? Is this something that potentially will be in PoE2? Are we expanding upon the loot filter system?
Well, honestly, I don't know that we need an in-game. Like, I don't know that we're ever going to be able to make an interface for that that's better than some of the websites that exist to do that. Honestly,
Fair.
like, it's one of those things where, like, this is
That's crazy. Like, yeah, in the same fucking interview earlier, he was like, "Oh, we don't want to release the death stats and shit, and have people use a third-party thing to know what they die from and shit." And now he's like, "Oh yeah, we're completely fine with having like third-party tools like." Carry our fucking game because like we don't want to improve on the loot filter and shit. Like it's so fucking amazing to see like the fucking change of stance based on what's like more beneficial for them and shit. It's so fucking crazy.
This is another one, like a very similar question people have asked in a similar nature is, hey, why isn't the trade site in the game client? And it's exactly the same thing. Like, I think a website is actually a better interface for being able to do that than a game client necessarily will be. There's probably a few things we could improve feature-wise in loot filters, like just minor things to do with like just some of the features around what you can mark up and a few other details like that. Like, I think there's a few extra little visual styles we could add and bits and bobs like that I think could be cool. Yeah, like as far as like the actual interface for it goes, it's still just putting a file in a directory. I think is probably is fine enough for that. Of course, my hope is that you won't need a loot filter in PoE2 initially, but it's still cool to have the customization that people can do, especially when they're talking about like they're trying to find specific stuff. Like, it's always good to be able to do that. So
It is certainly my hope as well that in PoE2 you will not need it beyond formatting things to look more important.
yeah, sure.
As opposed to just hiding 99% of everything.
Because the community obviously are going to have the things of like, this is valuable, this is valuable. That's what they're deciding, and so obviously they're going to want to make loot filters that highlight
like,
what the important shit
It's
is.
cool that like white background, red text equals expensive item. Like, that is,
Yeah.
And it's big and right in your face, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, that's awesome. You immediately get that.
Right.
Without having to read, you immediately go like, value. There's something valuable there,
Yeah.
just because you see the color.
But then we want the community to be the ones deciding what they think is valuable in that regard. So that's why the kind of like community maintain that. But ideally, you shouldn't want to have to filter items out entirely in PoE2.
How does the decision of you see somebody, you're saying like filters as an example, you see something that a third party will make where you say they do such a good job, we don't necessarily need to improve upon it. It's already there. People can use it. Whereas opposed to other things like path of building you're talking earlier, it's like we don't want to implement that in the game because this actually has negative connotations. How do you as a team come together to decide which of these you're being allowed to, okay, the third party does this better, and how do you decide which ones, well, we like what the third party are doing, but we think we should do it in the game? How does that thought process come together?
I guess a lot of so I guess the thing there would be like, how many things have we actually done ourselves? And I think
the trade website.
the trade website would be
Yeah.
one of the big ones. And that one really, I'm just trying to think back to why the motivations there were. It's kind of like there was a lot of dodgy stuff around like third party. No, that wasn't really the main part though, was it? What was there around the
It
trade site that
was.
was kind of the main reason we did that?
I
Because
can't remember exactly, but
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least
that's
like I could see a world where it's like if I think what was it? It was PoE XYZ or something at the time. I don't remember. Like, if that was gone, like,
Oh, I remember it now. That's right. It was all the RMT ads.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. The
Yes.
those third-party websites were covered in RMT ads. That was a
PoE.trade.
That was a bit of a that was a bit of a
yeah.
You know how much money those RMT ads are paying now?
I have no idea.
It's ridiculous. All of us streamers are getting offers from it on a weekly basis. It's hilarious
yeah.
how much they're paying.
But
I
even
mean,
it's funny though because even with that one, we were like, we don't want to ban like the API. We don't want to actually like remove that. We're just like, let's just make a trade site that's better, such that we outcompete them based on that being a better trade website, which kind of ended up working in the end.
that's kind of crazy
So, we
because
never
like
actually-
even ad companies are doing like they're being told. Even PoE Lab has had this issue where those
Right,
kind of
right.
ads have snuck in, and they've been trying to work hard to make sure that doesn't come. And even then, it still sneaks in
Right.
every now and then. It's almost impossible
Sure,
to stay
sure,
away
sure.
from. But it's actively active work around it.
But I mean, we sort of like I think it really just comes down to exactly what I was saying before about like the new player. Like, you know, will this feel more overwhelming or less overwhelming if a new player sees this as part of the expectation? So I mean, I'm happy for those things to exist. You know, there's all sorts of like crazy tools out there. And honestly, like it would be cool if we did more effort to some APIs and things like that to allow more stuff like that to exist. I think it's fun when the community makes those tools. But yeah, it really just comes down to, you know, is it new player friendly or is it not new player friendly? Like, can we do a better job or can we do a worse job? And these are the factors that go in to that really.
But like on that topic, so can we then assume, based on what you guys just told us, that you guys are happy with the sheer quantity of third-party tools that people are utilizing, or in many cases even expected to use?
Well, okay, so there are some I certainly don't like. You know, like there are things that I think cross the line a little bit.
Any
but
names?
well, I don't know if I want to really do that, but you know, like yeah, sure. There are some things that I kind of don't love so much. Maybe you're more happy to name names, Mark, than I am. But
Well, no, I'm not, I won't.
Yeah,
There are
let's not
some
do it.
tools. There are some tools that are like okay, talking about some that are not allowed. For example, look, sometimes you go and trade with someone. Sometimes I go and trade with someone.
yeah.
And they have unreasonably put all of that currency in the trade window faster than a human could. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Mhm.
all right, that's questionable. And yeah, I could do something about it. But then I'm like, well, the fact that this many people need that is a development problem I want to fix. So, for example, I think in 324, we're going to be pushing for if you control shift, well, you know, you can control click all your currency into the window. If you do control shift click, it'll put all of the currency of your inventory into that trade window all in one go, right? So now you don't need to have this illegitimate third-party tool in order to do that.
And once we have that feature, then we can potentially start banning the people who use that tool.
Well, sure. I'm not to say there isn't people being banned for it or not. I'm just saying, like, I've gone and traded with someone and I see someone and, you know, like, sometimes you go into, like, 300 latency and you want to control click your entire inventory of divines or chaos into a window, and it's like with the 300 ms latency, it's like, oh my god, this is taking forever. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you go to that same person to trade and they're just like, "Brrr," and you're like, okay, I don't know. That's
No
questionable.
one reports them because we love those. We love those
Well,
people.
sure, yeah,
We buy a lot
there's
of
a
things.
reason- there's a
Nobody's
reason-
reporting them.
Yeah, I know, because there's a reason we don't.
That's
There's a
why
reason we don't ban for that.
I could
now.
easily just be like, all right, I'm just gonna become a police here,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna be like,
but it
well,
is against terms of use, because technically you are doing multiple actions on one thing, and so that's against terms of use. But at the same time, we've kind of been like, you know, like, I mean, it would feel a bit bad for us to ban people for that, right? You know, like,
yes.
Yeah.
So
but at the same time, we recognize, you know, so but therefore we come up with a
Yeah,
solution.
but what
to the
about
problem,
feeling the
we do
weight,
that, and then now
though?
it's like, well, now there's no reason for this.
What
technology to exist anymore, and
about what about feeling the weight, though? Damn, man! Like, I thought it was all about feeling the weight, you know, like. And now it's like, no, it's fine. We don't really ban people for it and shit. Like, what?
that's an example of the kind of thing where we're kind of like, yeah, not so great.
So sometimes there's implement the tool in the game, and sometimes there's, just remove the need for its existence, and do it ourselves. So, I mean, ultimately they achieve the same goal. I mean, another thing is the fusings and jewelers. We're going to add I guess it's more of an accessibility feature, which is that it's really only for getting 6 links or 5 links on 5 sockets and or max links and socket counts. So it won't be used for getting a 5 link on a 6 socket, but we will have it that like if you hold the fusing, you can shift click fusings to keep spamming it. If you hold it down, it will use fusings at some rate per second. I haven't determined how many it uses. I don't want it to be like
And that way you
ultra
can
fast.
6-link without having a.
Yeah, so it might be
Oh, I
faster to
love this.
click, but you'll save the mouse hand a little bit. It also obviously controller will get the same thing, so you can just hold down the button. It'll be like ding 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 ding. Some right. I don't know how fast it'll be. No.
Sorry, we just had someone from the community just messaging us, but hey, you're spoiling our features. But
There will be plenty of people
Yeah.
who can see and appreciate this later as well.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
sure.
So a real question then, just to make sure that I heard you guys correctly. Was this something that is confirmed for next league?
It is. The tasks have been sent to someone with the target version of 3.24. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's all I need.
we
That's
can never
beautiful.
never promise things will be done. At least in this case, but the goal is to do so. Yeah.
Mhm.
One other spoiler. Sorry, Nick.
Hey,
No.
let's keep forward. Come on.
No. This is
Spoilers, more.
specifically for DM. I am really, really trying. This is a different kind of spoiler. I'm really trying to make a hideout, a microtransaction hideout at that has contained within it an entire tower defense minigame. I really want to do this. So you can hit a
Yes!
button and send the monsters going, and you can build blight towers.
Log in.
I want this so much, and I will try.
How-
I don't know when, but it is.
Well,
I think it is something
I
that
as
we
the
thoroughly enjoy.
solitary blight enjoyer in Path of Exile, will hold down that tower defense, no problem. And
If
as
you make
go on, guys.
I just want to say, if you make sure that has like a leaderboard or something, or high scores or something, you actually make that shit engaging. Then I think we're gonna have a lot of people doing that, especially the people coming from the Warcraft 3 custom games times. For sure. Sorry, Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, as we're getting towards the end of it here, I know we've been keeping you guys quite a while, so I figure it's starting to wind down now. But I wanted to give you guys an opportunity at the end here to shout out somebody on your team. Let's go, Jonathan, you, and then Mark. Can you drop one person on your team that you feel is doing a particularly amazing job lately going into the Path of Exile 2 development, and why?
My goodness, that's a real hard one to just like single out. Oh, you first, Mark.
Give a compliment. I'm digging for some positivity here, so I'm trying.
There's so many people though. There's so many people.
You know, I know. I reckon. You know what? Blake has been doing a real good job managing the environment team, and he doesn't. They don't. Honestly, the environment team don't get called out a lot because they're not responsible for gameplay.
Sure.
And so like they don't tend to come up a lot during conversations like this. But Blake, you know, he's done a real good job just managing that whole team. Like I can, you know, you can ask him for something and it just comes back, and it comes back great. So he is someone that I think is real good. And as I said, he doesn't get a lot of kudos because he's just, you know, environment just doesn't tend to get that as much.
Shout out to Blake.
I
man.
mean,
Yeah.
there's too many people. I mean, you've got like Sam running that animation team amazingly. You've got Ed, who was already mentioned, doing the character animations, like all the player character animations done by Ed. Just amazing, right? You got Sam handling getting 700 monsters worth of animations done. You know, like it's ridiculous. You got Jason and the design team making pretty much every single boss, putting them together, like setting them all up. You've got Felipe doing every single player skill effect. Well, Felipe and Gabriel, but Felipe is like, you know, pushing boundaries constantly. All that awesome new VFX stuff you see is like coming from his brain, his mind, and the player skills in PoE 2 just look phenomenal.
See, you took the chicken way out, which is to name lots of people.
I know,
right?
because
It's a hard question. I know.
I'm like, you have to name one, and that's hard, right? When you have to name one, that's hard.
I mean, you got Dane handling making all the items, and the items look ridiculously good. You've got Joey handling the entire character art, all NPCs, all monsters, concepts. She's running that team. I don't know what to. And then okay, I'll give a special note to Tyler because he is relatively new in the grand scheme of things, and that dude is like outrageously good.
VFX.
Yes, VFX. he is just so good for being so new. Like you get these people that come in occasionally, they just have the eye for what looks awesome. He made most of the boss effects you see in I will say it's most probably, yes, of the boss effects you see in like things like all the ExileCon bosses, and just like an absolute champion when it comes to that. He did the Voodoo King in Affliction,
wow.
which again is using some awesome stuff going on there.
Well, the fact that
I
you're
don't know,
able
there's
to
too many
list
people, but
so many of them off the top of your head, inspires confidence, I suppose. And it looks like you guys enjoy the team.
Oh, 100%.
For sure.
It is very important to me and to us, I guess, that we know who everyone is and exactly what they're doing. And we talk to these people almost every single day. Our style isn't middle management. We talk to someone who tells everyone else. Like, we talk to these people, we engage with these people all the time. And it makes it just the level of passion going on here is just amazing. And you see it in these people. We certainly give them the opportunity to, shine. Hopefully they see it that way as well, but at least I feel that happened. I mean, I can speak to that because that was me, right? You might not know this, DM, some people do, but like 11 years ago I started as QA in this company,
Oh, really?
and now I am one of the game directors and currently like running PoE 1 and alongside Jonathan for PoE 2.
Mark likes to tell the story about how I wasn't going to hire you.
Yeah, he wasn't going to hire me. To be fair, not his fault. I walked in and these guys just asked me some questions in the middle of the room, and I didn't know this was the interview. And then I was like, and they were like, "Sweet, thanks for coming in." I left, and I was like, "Okay, well, I didn't get that job." And I just thought it was a casual conversation. I didn't realize it was.
That's because casual conversations are how we do interviews.
Now I know this is how things happen, but my my expectation of how companies worked was very different to how this one works. So anyway,
it's all good, man. My first
it's awesome.
interview, I showed up in pajamas because I didn't know it was an interview, and I did not get hired. In case you were wondering, so yeah, I've had similar experiences, but yeah, I want to thank you guys for your time. I want to thank the whole team, all the people you mentioned, and I really appreciate you answering some questions. I know we had probably some hard ones. We had maybe a little bit more softer questions in there too, but it was enjoyable to have the 2 hours and change you guys have shared with us here today. So thank you for that. And last thoughts or anything you want to mention here at the end as we're wrapping up?
I think we're good.
No, thanks to everyone, including you guys, obviously. And good luck with killing the rest of the Ubers. I have been watching all of your boss kill videos, DM, and I really enjoyed your Cirrus one. Yeah, it's good fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm after this, I'm doing hardcore solo self-found. It's a character I'm working on now, and if I die, I have to gift 100 subs, and I'm trying to make my way to Beat Shaper. So that's the current goal, and it's been a fun progress learning Path of Exile. And Gossi, you got any last mentions, call outs, anything you got going here, brother?
No, Previ got me roped into playing a bow build, so I'm doing Bama, and it is bombardment is crazy good. Whoever designed that, chef's kiss, dude. Holy shit, dude. I don't think I've ever enjoyed a bow build this much in my entire life, and I've played this game for a decade. So I'm very happy with that. Outside of that, thanks so much for joining. You'll find Darth Microtransaction on Twitch, Gassy TV on Twitch. You'll find this entire video, if you didn't catch it from the beginning, on youtube.com/Gassy TV as well. Big shout out to both you guys for joining in, Jonathan and Mark. And we will have another one with Jonathan after the reveal of The Witch, apparently. Booked and confirmed.
Ship it and clip it, boys.
Ship it and clip it.
All right. Thank you so much for this, and we will see you next time.
Awesome.
Thank
See
you.
you later. Bye.
Cheers.
If you get it juiced.
Okay, Torrid, nice, thanks YouTube. So yeah, that
Gazi
was
Juice.
it. It's already a mixed one, like there's some new cool stuff coming up for PoE 1 and stuff. But again, like the whole, like, very pretentious, in my opinion, like philosophy and the vision and all that kind of shit that I just like, it's like, why make your life simple when you can make it complicated, you know, and like pretend that you you like have perfect logic and shit. Like, I don't know, man. It's like they're trying to find justification to have the game like feel like shit just because they don't want to assume that like, some of the stuff they do is just trash. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Anyways, we're gonna watch the Gauntlet stuff. I saw it was released too, so I'm gonna. Wait. I'm gonna react to it and then. Because I haven't watched. I have not watched it yet. Actual reaction. But
But you can never go back.
oh my god. They really need to like stop with the fucking musics and shit. Like nobody gives a fuck, man, about like the cringe fucking ass musics.
To survive, and you're still alive.
I haven't taken like that in a long, long time.
Steelmate almost fucking killed me. Oh man, I'm not washed.
He fucking cheated. I knew it. Job's done.
Okay, ban skills. Pog. Only transfigure. Wait, what? Only transfigure gems? Difficulty tier?
Job's done. Hi everyone. Are you ready for a new gauntlet? Well,
Okay, one sec.
get ready. On February 2nd at 9 GMT, we are going to bring you yet another gauntlet.
February
It has been
2nd.
a long year since the last gauntlet, and because of that,
So in
we
2
made
weeks.
the deadliest gauntlet you have ever seen. We made the gauntlet campaign deadly once again, and then we have an oasis of safety in white maps where you can gear up and prepare your characters for the onslaught that comes next, because yellow and red maps are very deadly. And the deadliest version ever obviously has some twists. Ubers include some brand new modifiers. You can see
Zone modifier. Campaign. Less damage increase. Damage increase attacks and cast speed. Like, honestly, I feel like attack and cast speed, especially cast speed, is like the most deadly. It's like the deadliest shit. Because it completely fucks your timings, you know. If you're used to dodge a certain way, or like with a certain, like a specific timing and shit, it fucks your timings so much. Like, it's just retarded. I fucking hate fucking increase attack in Caspit. I think it's the dumbest mod and ever. Like, because you have to retrain your whole fucking muscle memory to react faster and shit. And like the fucking window to DPS on certain mobs and shit is different, and it's just retarded and unfun.
See them all on screen, as well
Feel those extra chaos. That sounds like fucking cancer. Wow. Like, I guess if you can take the armor and energy shield, like 10% of your armor applies to chaos, I guess you can be Gucci. Like, that's gonna help a lot. Once you have determination and shit.
as in the video description below. And we're shining a new spotlight on the newly introduced transfigured gems. You must use a transfigured seal gem as your primary damage source when slaying bosses in order to receive points. Bosses now have a portal limit of 3. Good luck! All forms of Detonate Dead are banned, as well as Arc of Surging and Penance Brand of Dissipation. Don't worry though, the bans only have in order to see them all on screen.
Wait, Uber boss is 40, 80, 32. Wait, so red maps have 4 approach and 20%. But then Ubers have like 2. That's weird. I guess they tested it, but increase AoE is cancer too. Player assaulted by apparition of Azeri Queen of the Val. Consume additional portal on entry. That's funny.
As well as in the video description below. And we're shining a new spotlight on the newly introduced transfigured gems. You must use a transfigured seal gem as your primary damage source when slaying bosses in order to receive points. Bosses now have a portal limit of 3. Good luck! All forms of Detonate Dead are banned, as well as Arc of Surging and Penance Brand of Dissipation. Don't worry though, the bans only apply to those that are competing for the ladder and bounty prizes. You can absolutely use anything you want if you're aiming to participate in the physical prize drawings and MTX drawings as always. We're selling Misery, Gauntlet t-shirts, hoodies, and more. To accompany your new drip, we have displays. These are the old ones, you can still buy these. You can see the new versions here that are coming for this Misery Gauntlet.
Oh, I'm hiding the
Starforge are giving us
fucking
a really
link.
cool PC to give away during the gauntlet, so make sure you check them out. Shopify Rebellion is doubling any donations to the prize pool up to $25,000, so let's make it a beefy one. Check out the merch store, display links, and Starforge links in the description down below. It's a great way to support the event and show your love for the gauntlet. For full details on the gauntlet, check out the video in the top right corner or the full rules sheet in the description.
Okay,
Hi,
the
Scissor in
full
here.
info. Full rules. Interesting stuff.
Hi, Scissorin here, presenting the Misery Gauntlet, powered by the Shopify Rebellion. Gauntlet is an in-game event where players compete and earn points by leveling characters and killing bosses to see how all of the classes fare in Path of Exile's most difficult encounters. To add to the challenge, the Gauntlet also has added modifiers. The event will take place as a solo self-found hardcore Affliction event league. The Gauntlet begins on the February 2nd, 9 PM GMT and is going to last 10 days. Last Gauntlet, we had over 120,000 characters and over 35,000 unique accounts. So a big thank you from me and everybody that runs the Gauntlet. Thank you so much. We could not do it without you. As always, Shopify Rebellion will be matching all donations up to $25,000 for the prize pool. And on top of that, we'll be providing many exciting physical prizes that anyone can win just by participating and reaching goals. If you want to support the event, you can donate to the PayPal pool in the description or buy merch. Today, I'm proud to announce both Displayed and Starforge are back for more as event sponsors to help make the Gauntlet bigger and better than ever before. And the Gauntlet is an ever-evolving event. We always plan to change things around to keep it exciting and different. Scaling modifiers are back, but with a few new twists. They wildly swing in difficulty from white, yellow, red to Ubers, and we have a few new mods as well. The campaign has been made much more difficult. Today, I'm proud to announce
Oh,
prizes
wait.
that anyone
One sec. I'm
providing
gonna.
many exciting physical prizes that anyone can win just by participating and reaching goals. If you want to support the event, you can donate to the PayPal pool in the description or buy merch. Today, I'm proud to announce both Displayed and Starforge are back for more as event sponsors to help make the Gauntlet bigger and better than ever before. The Gauntlet is an
yeah.
ever-evolving event. We always plan to change things around to keep it exciting and different. Scaling modifiers are back, but with a few new twists. They wildly swing in difficulty from white, yellow, red to Ubers, and we have a few new mods as well. The campaign has been made much more difficult. We are banning Detonate Dead, including the Val and Transfigured versions. We are also banning Arc of Surging and Penance Brand of Dissipation. We will also be requiring the use of Transfigured Gems as your primary damage sources on bosses to receive any boss kills. You may use any skill you'd like if you want to win raffles or cosmetics. However, if you want to win the prize pool or anything like bounties, like cash prizes, you may not use these skills. This time, we're primarily focusing on classes for cash rewards, rewarding the top 2 of each class with cash, as well as the first and second place overall getting a bonus. As usual, Grinding Gear Games has made Gauntlet an event league. Joining will only require 1 click at the bottom of the character select screen as we get closer to the date, so it's completely free to enter. We have made a few changes to the point system, so make sure you check out the full rule sheet below. We are once again doing community bounties through some of your favorite Path of Exile streamers as well as Displayed and Starforge. Check in with your favorite streamer and their social media, as well as the Racing Discord server for more information as it's available. So what are community bounties and how do they work? Any streamer that raises money with their community can place a bounty. An example, a target like the feared all-release 8 mod can be named and given a $1,000 bounty. Or the first person to provide finding a double corrupted Meganords belt. We can be pretty flexible with bounty ideas. If you would like your own individual bounty, you can create them for $250. Just contact Viro on Discord. We're continuing physical drawings for anyone who reaches certain goals during the Gauntlet. We have exciting physical prices such as 5 fast food delivery cards for $20, a Keychron RGB blacklight keyboard, a Logitech Wireless G502X Pro, a crucial 1TB NVMe hard drive, and a RTX 4070 Super Graphics card, and a RTX 4080 Super Graphics card. We also have loads of cool microtransactions that you can win just by participating, and GGD provided 1,000 mystery boxes that anyone that reaches level 50 has a chance to win. So they'll be raffled out. You're not guaranteed to get one by getting level 50, you just have a chance to win one. And you can level up multiple characters as multiple tickets. So if you have 3 level 90 characters, you will have a bigger chance to win. Casting is going to be live on my channel every day for at least 4 hours. More info on that later. If you want to support the Gauntlet, a great way of doing that is to buy merch. We have these awesome t-shirts, cups, etc. and they're limited edition for the Affliction Gauntlet. We are this time as well opening up all previous ones. They are of course in true PoE fashion going to be mirrored with the text mirrored. So the only time you can actually get the original one is during the event itself. If you do want a previous one, they are available as a mirrored version. And we are once again joined by Display. So if you want something really cool to decorate your walls as you're being crushed in the campaign, we have some really cool displays. There are new ones made for this event as well. They look amazing. Through Starforge, we're giving away a really beefy PC. We'll have more details on that later. And make sure you check out PoE-Racing for standings during the event, made by Phaedron. An amazing website, makes it so easy to keep track of everything for us. And, as always, there will be highlights made by Skria and Yosis. So if you like that deep, deep voice, Salutations Exile is coming back once more. So I hope to see you for the gauntlet. And as always, try to die less than I do.
Wow, he said the thing. Bug. Anyways, yeah, that's cool. Just I don't know. It's weird that like skills are banned for one thing and not for the other. Like you can just spam level like on some fucking dog shit skill and on fucking DD on every character and like I don't know. It's just weird to do like ban for one but not for the other. Like okay. I don't think there is anything else to like check. Uh, I think it's fine. Do I want to? Um, no, no more React. No more shit to React. I'm gonna call it for today. It's a very short stream, but again, like, I'll be back tomorrow anyway, like, for sure. Or maybe I could just, like, start planning a build, I guess. So what's done is, let me see. I actually have to go and rewatch it. Like, where were the ban?
Well, get ready. On February 2nd at 9 GMT and below, you must use a transfigured seal gem as your primary damage source when slaying bosses in order to receive points. Bosses now have a portal limit of 3. Good luck! All forms of Detonate Dead are banned, as well as
Okay,
Arc of Surging and Penance Brand of Dissipation.
okay. Arc of Surging and Penance Brand.
Oh,
Wait, but
and
so you can like play with a normal skill, but when you at a fucking boss, now you have to change to a
we're
fucking
shining a new spotlight on the
transfigure gem. It's weird too.
newly introduced transfigured gems. You must use a transfigured seal gem as your primary damage source when slaying bosses in order to receive points. Bosses now have a portal limit of 3. Good luck! All forms of Detonate Dead are banned, as well as Arc of Surging and Penance Brand of Dissipation. Don't worry though, the bans only apply to those that are competing for the ladder and bounty prizes. You can absolutely use anything you want if you're aiming to participate in the physical prize drawings and MTX drawings as always.
So I guess you just
You just pick a skill with a good transfigure gem. But then you have to get the transfigure gem with your fucking pot shit, like the font from the lab. So you have to do lab, which is fucking cancer. Let me see. Let me open PoE Wiki and see. Because some fucking skill also have multiple skill gems, like multiple like alternative skill gem, and some skill don't have them yet, or they are fucking retarded. Like if you want to play Bladestorm, the alternate fucking the transfigure gem for Bladestorm is like the fucking random Bloodstorm retarded shit. Like it doesn't do anything for the skin. Except fucking you over. Yeah, it's like Bladestorm of uncertainty, and it doesn't do anything. Okay. I guess you have more base damage. But yeah. But if you look at like Helix, for example, which is what I played on my champion, as like a test to see if it was like still fun or good or whatever. I don't think Helix has a fucking alternate. No, it doesn't. So you literally cannot play Helix. Damn. Hope everyone enjoys this League Gauntlet trailer. Okay, let's see if they like
Hi, Scissorin here.
talked about it. No. I'm gonna have to open the fucking Discord and check that. Transfigure gem rule update. Addition. These are exception. You are allowed to use them. Damage that doesn't come from a skill gem. Example below. Flamewood support. Explode charms. Inikora Death's Fury. Chieftain Ascendancy. Profane Bloom Occultist. Transfigure gem rule update. These are exceptions. You are allowed to use them. Using melee totem as a buff to the character. This may not be linked to damage support outside of maim or brutality and multiple totem support. So you can't even have fucking Cunning Strike totem.
Wow. Addition. Using Flame Surge cannot have damage support links. Dragon's Brain is allowed. Wow. So I guess a skill like Helix that doesn't have a fucking... Let me go back. Like a skill that doesn't have fucking transfigured shit like Helix literally cannot be used, you know. Like it doesn't have transfigure gem, so you can't play Helix basically. That's annoying. That's fucking annoying. Um, yeah. And if you pick a skill and the fucking configuration is dog shit, like, you're just fucked. I guess it's time for fucking chieftain consecrated path or some shit. Ice Rush of Cadence. Oh, it's a dual wielding fucking Ice Rush. Fuck my ass. Every fucking skill that I wanna play has no fucking transfiguration or has dog shit transfigured gem. Like, what's the one? I should go on PoEDB. English. Gem. Fire Slam. Volcanic Fissure has two fucking... Wait, it only has one? Oh, it's a val. The other one is a val. That's create dwelling, Fisher. Towards enemy, cause further eruption. Okay. What about tectonic slam? More damage per endurance charge. More area, more branching. Okay. What's earthquake? Because there is the new bleach sheet, so bleed earthquake. Smash the ground, dealing damage in an area and cracking the earth. The crack will erupt in a powerful aftershock. After the duration, cracks created before the first one has erupted will not generate their own aftershock. 30% more damage with hidden ailments. Per 1 second. 0.1 second. After duration. Okay, so you need to increase like the fucking duration. That's a weird one. I don't even know if bleed earthquake is actually good. Create 3 spikes. Create 10 additional spikes if you've changed stance recently.
Less damage while in bloodstance. More area of effect while in sand stance. +2 spikes. Perforate of bloodshed. Wait, perforate might actually be not that bad. Oh, I already had a skill gem, shit. Perforate. Yeah, this one is for bleeds. Create 5 spike. Create 1 spike. +1 spike. I don't know. Looks weak. Earth Shatter. +3 maximum spike rate +1 fissure. +3 maximum spike. Oh, they fucking shatter alone, like. Just shatter from like themselves. They don't require a Warcry. Damn. The shattering spike deal like more damage sounds fucking insane. It sounds fucking insane. Just more area and more damage? Like, you have less spikes. So I'm like in pain, fucking thunder of earth breaking. Yeah. What about fucking glacial hammer, for example? Glacial hammer of shadowing. Every third 60 strike freeze enemy also 100% more damage. Every third successive strike is a critical strike. I guess that's like that doesn't work when with like multi-strike or some shit. Right? Like it's like fucking ruthless or some shit. Oh, and that's it. Like no more freezing, no more shit. Yeah, it's just like you auto-create every fucking hit. That's weird. Like, I mean, it's definitely like not good. Uh, what about Wild Strike? You made a weapon, convert your fist to one depending. Avoid choose the same element twice in a row. Mana life energy shield. Okay. Its treat enemy monster elemental resistance value as inverted. That's stupid. How can you buff enemy fucking defense like res? I mean, it's wrong. You don't need fucking penetration. You don't even need like the elemental equilibrium or anything like that. It would be actually bad, but I don't know.
I mean, all of the stuff that work with endurance charge is not that good with Chieftain anymore because Chieftain doesn't have endurance charge generation and shit. But I guess it's good with Jug, but Jug doesn't have all the fire and slam synergy that Chieftain has, so. It's just fucking annoying. I guess it's volcanic fissure, but I don't know. Air Shutter looks good, honestly. But you have to play fucking Warcry, so. And you probably have to play Impale too, or some shit. To have the damage. I don't know. Honestly, the more I look at the skill, the less I want to play fucking Gauntlet. Molten Strike of the Zenith. Molten Strike, okay, I guess. Yeah, or just play, don't play attack skill, just play fucking spells, and that's it. Cooldown, fucking 80 seconds. This one has just lower cooldown. Oh, but it has way less damage. Sure, I guess.
fucking Thousand Legion. If it's smooth enough. Maybe you can make it smooth enough. I don't know. I wanted to check Ice Spear. I don't. Oh yeah, it's Ice Spear of splitting. Yeah, I don't know. Not a lot of cool, exciting skill, I guess. Like every time I look at a fucking skill, it's like annoying or not my type of shit. Like I guess Glacial Cascade could be interesting. I don't know. Maybe. Fuck. Yeah. We'll see. I'll have to get some transfigure gem and test them out to see how they fucking feel. I guess. And we'll see. We'll see. Then maybe do a leveling or two in just like self-found hardcore to check the builds, but yeah. Anyways, I'll check that tomorrow and yeah, see you there. See you then. See you.